Hello, everyone. Shalom, should I say? Is correct? You may notice some of your stations. Probably some of you cannot see. Yeah. So that will be the workshop about measuring agility and evidence-based management. It's pretty the same. Yeah. So I will be talking a bit about myself, but very shortly. This is a workshop, so you will be working as well. It's a very short workshop because we have only 50 minutes for a workshop. It's almost incredible and impossible to do, but we will be fine. So, who of you measures your agility? Hands up. Measuring. Good, you will see, we'll see. Maybe you will share also your experience in groups, because we will be working in groups. So maybe a bit about myself, just a bit. I'm the professional Scrum trainer at Scrum.org for a few years now. Also, I'm a university lecturer. My specialization is Agile leadership. That's what I like teaching people. Also, I have an experience 12 years in agility in general, and mostly in Scrum framework and in Kanban. And in general, 20 years of professional experience, which reminds me that I'm getting older and older. Yeah, so that's pretty much about me in the shortcut, because we have no time to spend talking about me, but about measuring agility and evidence-based management, of course. You can reach me during breaks, during the lunch, so I'm happy to share what I have. So, yes, you can measure Agile and you can measure agility, and we will be practicing it. We will be practicing it with the very simple example, and then we will move into your organizations. What do you measure in your organization? But first, initially, let me show you the example. So, let's imagine you are the worker in the pizza restaurant. You need to take into account that in the pizza restaurant, you are not only the waiter, but you need to also have some delivery stuff. So ordering via phone, etc. Is it popular in Israel? Yeah, so ordering online, for example, so you need to take into account. So being a waiter, yes, in the place, in the restaurant, and also being a delivery person, visiting some homes, so you need to take fuel into account, for example, and many more stuff. So your job is to, because we will be practicing it, just try to come up with as many as you can metrics that would be interesting from the perspective of the worker, of the employee, of the pizza house. Okay? So let's take post-it notes. Divide yourself into 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 groups, and try to come up with as many metrics as you can from the worker perspective. What should be interesting to measure as a worker, as an employee? Okay? Should I repeat something? Employee perspective, worker perspective. So you are the worker. Let's imagine you are the worker of the pizza restaurant. You need to. So for example, I need to measure time that the client is served, both in the restaurant and both time when the customer is served in terms of delivery to the home. Okay? For example, that's the example. You need to measure fuel and maybe different stuff, like quality maybe, yes? Maybe from the employee perspective, not employer, not the owner. Only employer perspective worker right now, okay? So, okay, you have several minutes. I will give you, let's say, 3 minutes, 4 minutes maybe, and let's come up, divide yourself into 6 teams. 6 teams, divide yourself. Yes, that's all. Employer perspective worker of the pizza. Employer, not employee. Employee. But for example, from the employer, from the business side. Not only. employees should. Yes, so let's come up in your groups, maybe you will see. Employee, yes. Workers, yes. If the person doesn't care, it's meaningful, yeah. Also, it's trouble, I would say. Time's up. Can you hear my bell? Tinksha bell? Good, very good. So some of you mentioned that people, like employees, they just don't care about metrics. What do you think about it? They should, but they don't. Yes, that's the first observation. Maybe some of you should have like tips. Yes, you have it. Yeah, I noticed you have it. So tips, for example, it is interesting from the worker perspective. Yes, what sort of tips? What is the amount of tips? The next, time taking and pizza in order. So it should be interesting for the employee, and sometimes it just doesn't interesting, and it should be. Okay, for example, time for delivery, miles per delivery, especially when we need to drive pizza homes. Fuel used, or quality, or orders per driver, it should be measured as well from the employee perspective. Yes? You should have something similar? Yes, what's more you have? What's different?
Which neighborhoods pay more tip?
Yes, good. So it's divided between neighborhoods. Good, great. Other example? Unsatisfied customers. Yes, people should care about it. Yes, I know. They don't. Usually they don't. So what we should do about it? We should make them care. Okay, right now you are the owner. It's Da Roberto Pizzeria. Nice pizzeria, and you are the owner. This is the same pizzeria. You have workers, employees, so you are the employer at this moment, the owner. And the same, of course, exercise. From the owner perspective, which metrics can be interesting? Okay? And let's try to discuss and write down something. Around 3 minutes for this exercise should be enough. Ready? Yeah, in 3 minutes you came up with many ideas what to measure. And what is the difference between owner perspective? Doesn't care about tips, yes, that's true. That's true. But have to, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Maybe you have something similar. I noticed revenue. Once metrics was very interesting, cost of waste. There is no here, but I saw it at some stations, so it was perfectly fine. Waste, for example, perfect. Per delivery, per employee, investment, so return on investment. Yeah, I've noticed also you measured customer satisfaction, absolutely yes, and employee satisfaction as well. Time to market, and what is our market share? How are we placed in the market? That's very important from the owner perspective. And now let me know which metrics are more important. Employee perspective or the owner perspective? Both. Thank you for that. Many people say, oh, it's only owner perspective. No. Without employee perspective, we don't have any business, right? We need people to work. So all of us should care about metrics. And how those metrics, maybe except of fuel, maybe not, or pizza delivery at the topic, how many of them are different in your organizations? How many of them? Except of specific ones, maybe for pizza. Several can be, yes, even though it is a very different business. Some of them may be similar to your organization. Now, your job is to think, what do you measure in your organization? Okay? What do you measure? Maybe velocity, maybe time, maybe customer satisfaction. Let's come up with ideas and discuss within your groups. You can use another paper, post it or write down on the board. And what do you measure in your organization, okay? And I will need some examples from you. 3 minutes, maybe 4. Okay, time's up. Time's up, guys. So give me some examples. What do you have? Maybe starting from here. Just some example. Field quarter. Quality. Yes, quality. Profit. What do you measure? Just one example. Return on investment. Good. What else do you measure? Some example. Employee satisfaction, which is good. Customer satisfaction, yes. Lead time, yes, very good. Happiness, yes, of the employees, so employee satisfaction, very good. And think what measures, do you listen to me? Yeah? What measures can affect your current value, your value you deliver? What do you think? What measures, you have it right now, like written down, can affect your current value? Because it's all about delivering current value and value in general, right? Let's discuss, just 1 minute, let's discuss in your groups. Yes, so product value. Yeah, I mean product value or company value. And what do you think? What about current value? Customer satisfaction, yes, sure. What else? Quality, yes. What else? Any examples from profit, good. And from your perspective? Any examples? Yes. Investing, yes, absolutely yes. Yes, absolutely yes. What else? Good stuff do you have? Customer value delivered, yes, perfect. And when I ask you about, for example, lead time or cycle time, internal, external, why not? It's also value, yes, it's also value. And what about velocity? Have you measured velocity? Does it tell us this velocity about value? Yes, only the velocity. Thank you. Right now I'm good. No allergies here. Yes. It doesn't mean that we should stop measuring velocities for internal team, absolutely yes. But we have more interesting metrics as you came up with them. And another question for you. What do your organization do with these metrics? Any decisions are being made based on those metrics? So profit, so maybe lead time, so maybe return on investment, customer, employee satisfaction, and everything you mentioned and here. Okay? Let's discuss it shortly in 1 minute. Is there any decision that has been made based on those, what you have, those metrics? Okay? 1 minute. Any decisions? Yes? Any decisions in your companies, in your organizations? Yes? Based on metrics? Decisions based on metrics? Yeah? Yeah. Financial performance. Good, good, good. No, funding. Change priorities. Yes, yes. What example do you have? An example, what company is making a decision based on metrics? Bugs. Yeah. Fixing the bugs. Yeah. Progress, yes. Yes, very good. Cost reduction, very good, very good. What is another example from your, what decisions are being made? Yes, acquisitions, yes, very good. Very good. So guys, I need your right now attention, because we will be introducing evidence-based management. Maybe you practice it already. Who is practicing evidence-based management? Trying a bit, trying. Okay, some of you are trying, some of you maybe it would be some inspiration for you, because we have like the short time box, so let's do it quickly. Guys, it's not about being metric-driven. Absolutely not. It's all about making decisions based on facts. Those are facts. So not being metric-driven, of course, but those are facts and what decision is going to be made, right? So that's why it's evidence-based management, based on facts, based on evidence. It is coming from which industry, which area, professional area? Do you know it? No. From medicine. It's coming from medicine. And you can imagine, just think about even your own experience. You have the fact, so the measures, right? For example, blood check, something different, right? Like different measures, for example, blood check. And then the decision is made based on what the doctor see, right? Any treatment, anything. And when you think about many treatments at the same time, what would you say for the one disease? Would it be valuable? Many different strategies at the same time? We don't know which one was effective, right? Yeah. Yeah, so we need to just follow probably one by each other. Of course, you can measure more. But it was incorporated from medicine into business, into management. And this is our Scrum.org framework, like Scrum itself. Also, we have evidence-based management for decisions, but we can take based on facts, yes. And there are 4 areas, and you mentioned them. All of them, I believe you mentioned. The first one is current value. Current value. So what it is, current value? Employee satisfaction, stakeholder satisfaction, customer satisfaction. The second one is time to market. So everything related to lead time, cycle time, delivery time, release, how often we can release, time to market. This is ability to innovate. How fast we can innovate, how effectively we can innovate. And the fourth one, the very interesting one, is unrealized value. So what we could have, but we didn't do anything with that. And what we can do, so what is the gap with unrealized value? I will give you, of course, an example. I will have cards with those metrics for you, just to quickly review them and maybe make some decisions. What will I use after this workshop, I hope? Unrealized value. So, for example, customer satisfaction. Let's say on the scale from 0 to 10, our customer satisfaction is 6. So not so very good, right? And we would like to have it like 8. Just 8, not 10. Yeah, and this is the gap. This is this unrealized value. So what we could have, what we didn't do, and what we should do to reach this level of, for example, 8. Or our market share is here, is placed here in unrealized value. I have some examples for you before I will give you cards, just to explore them. It's not obligatory to use all metrics. This is the framework. What is most important, we need to remember about those 4 areas. And you can put your measures more relevant to your organization. But you need to think about four different areas. Those are, rather, I would say, those employee, so worker perspective. This is called organizational capability. So this is our pizzeria worker perspective, and that would be our business owner perspective for sure. So what about value? And of course, I asked you before, which of them are most important? And the answer is obvious. All of them, all of them, because each of them can influence each other. So they are all important. You cannot run an organization based on only current value and having like no interest in the worker or team's perspective, right? And teams also should be aware why we are doing it, because can be an answer for your teams. I've heard several times that they shouldn't be interested. Yeah, people shouldn't be interested in their metrics, but they should, of course. And another thing, but many teams are not able to have an access to those metrics. So what I would recommend, I introduce evidence-based management, and we, in general, at Scrum.org, we introduce it in several companies. For example, basically I'm from Poland, and I work across Europe. So what I'm doing with the organization. So where you are right now, let's measure what you have. Sometimes they have only velocity, that's why I ask you about velocity, really, only velocity or hours, that's all. And on the business level, of course, or C-level, they have, of course, market share, everything. But no one is aware about business perspective from teams. And it's different. It's a huge difference when you introduce to teams, oh, guys, we have this market share. We need to, increase it. And they will know why we are, for what we are striving. Yes, that's different. That it can make some difference. So I will strongly recommend you do this. So business perspective and organizational capability perspective. So rather worker perspective, but not only, and all of them combined together. So when it comes to some examples, they might be interesting. Maybe you measure already it, maybe you just didn't mention it here. So context switching, for example. Who measures context switching? Yes, so this is the average. You can, of course, measure it like using a timer. You can, yes, really you can, especially when there is some issue with believing this metric. So you can measure context switching using average data. There is a whole book regarding context switching, and when you just write it in Google it, you can find many articles also regarding context switching. So one context switching in average, measured in different places, in different companies, and in different cultures, it takes 20 minutes. It's related to how our brain is actually working, and how about our sugar intake is huge during the switching context, and we need to around 20 minutes. It means for some people it's 5 minutes, for some people it's even 30 minutes. So in average, for the population, for the people brains, it's 20 minutes from the one perspective to another, and getting into the full flow, so full focus. That's why it's really interesting metrics, especially when your teams are working on several projects at the same time. You can easily calculate how many hours you can save. That's why I like this metrics from your team about waste. Yes, it's waste. Yes, so you can show metrics, transparency, should we show metrics, and then what we are doing, making decisions based on this fact, because it's a fact. So it's per person 20 minutes. Let's imagine 3 different perspectives for the employee, and 1 hour is gone just for context switching. It doesn't include, of course, lunches and regular breaks. Yes, of course. People need it. No, actually when you can measure, for example, unnecessary meetings, also 1 context switching, working on the 1 project and then moving the same day to another project. It is context switching. So different areas, completely different areas. When they are going for the lunch, it's normal break. So so please allow people going for breaks. Yeah, yes. Context switching is really related with time to market because it slows us down, unfortunately. The same with release stabilization period. Who measures it? Yes. So maybe I quickly introduce what it is. So this is when you, do you work using Scrum or some iterative approach? Majority of you, some of you? Yes, thank you. So when your increment or part of your delivery is not really done within 1 sprint, so you have, for example, like maybe UX, maybe dev, but maybe not testing. Oh, let's do testing later, of course. Oh, don't integrate right now. We will integrate it later a bit. And the same, next sprint. So do we have any increments here? Actually, no increment because it's only coded. Excuse me? Yes, it can be continuous delivery, absolutely yes. Yes, but when it's not tested, not integrated, so it's not delivered, yeah, so also no increment. So we need for sure something, but it's called release stabilization period for testing, for integration, for deployment, delivery, whatever you have. And this period also slows you down. In some companies, for example, I was working for Motorola company. Also, I've noticed it's here in Tel Aviv, yes. Yes. So we had like 9 months of delay due to only stabilization period. Yes. So if you suffer from such things like that, what you can do, you can just only shorten it until and include all those stuff into sprints. Maybe you will devote more sprints for sure, but not 9 months, 9 months. So this is all about having everything here and really done. Deployed or prepared for deployment, doesn't matter. It's the decision of your product owners, business owners, etc. So this is one of the measures also related with time to market. So employee customer satisfaction, those are examples. Of course, you can measure using Net Promoted Score. You know it from CSK or different approach. So you can measure, I don't have any examples. Feature product usage. It would be rather current, related with current value. Probably you measure it, right? Yes, and you know data from the market as well. 60 to 80% of features are not used regularly by your users, customers, etc. Unfortunately, so why we are producing so much? Yes, what is waste? Again, waste. So 60% in the past, a few years ago. The recent data is even 80. What does it mean? But we produced even more stuff. And innovation rate versus technical debt. Have you measured it? How to measure it? Oh, it's easy. It's easy. So we have timeline, and those are new features. New features. And those are stuff that we need to devote to technical debt. So all refactoring, everything. And when you noticed, you can take it just automatically from your just tools you use probably for managing stuff. And you will see that those stuff is decreasing. And this stuff is increasing, so it means that technical debt slows you down. Of course, number of bugs and different metrics you can use to, in addition, absolutely yes. So that can be an example, what you can measure. Of course, you can put different metrics, but I would strongly recommend to be in some of those on the system. So I'm thinking about what is the value and how fast we can deliver and how we can be able to innovate. And what you can do, oh, I don't have any more paper. So you can do, for example, measure what you can right now and make decisions, what we need to do, where we would like to be in, for example, 1 month or 3 months. And let's come up with some ideas what to do, so some actions, and just verify it. Not about metric driven, but all about decisions, okay? I will give you right now cards. I'm not sure how much time do we have, actually. Just to one per group maybe. And you can see the full framework, full metrics. They are divided into, they are complex, they are divided into colors. So each of, yes, and you can just quickly review what you can measure. It's available for free at scrum.org. So I'm not able to give you those cards because I need them for the class we are having next 2 days. But just review them and think what you can measure in your organization, what you can use, and what decisions you will make or your organization. The market share, whereas value, can be also this gap between customer satisfaction and employee satisfaction. What is the gap? What we missed and what... So in this case, so we need to decide what is valuable for you to measure per feature, per product, maybe, or just general timeline. So you can have all of them. I would do it see, because sometimes it's under yes. So I would see the several perspectives. Just the feature of the product. Those people are destructors. So they will criticize your product, your team, your company, whatever you are, and we should take care of them. Why is that? Sometimes you can see some apps in Apple Store or Google, so you can see what something like doodle is too fast instead of fun. So those people are using the fun here. And what we can do, something is happening with content. You're welcome. Thank you. So what about your decisions? What about your decision? Would you like to introduce something to your organization? Oh, they haven't finished. Yes, okay. We need to. Yeah, yeah, yes. Okay, guys, maybe take some pictures because we need to finish our session. That's time that is going by so fast, unfortunately. Hope you make some decisions what to introduce to your organizations, to your companies. And feel free to download the evidence-based management guide from scrum.org. And you have all measures and the guidelines, 9 pages only. So you can evidence-based management at scrum.org. So you can come back to after the conference. Thank you so much. You can come back and hope it will be helpful for your company. Thank you so much. Thank you.